Hold.
I'm playing with my face.
Hi, Selina. We are live.
Hi.
Good evening.
How are you, Ethel?
Good evening. I'm great, and good evening to you, and good evening to everybody who is on Facebook and joining in the Heart to Heart, yes, into the Heart to Heart Leadership Soul series. We're just there. We're just getting there, and FB has just announced that we are live.
We are live.
So, good evening, everyone. Salam alaikum and salam Ramadan to everyone who is celebrating the auspicious holy month of Ramadan. Today I'm very excited because I have a very special person with me today on the Heart to Heart Leadership Soul series. She is somebody who I greatly admire, I respect very much, and she was one of the very important and influential women that I met in Malaysia, as if completely God sent. Because I think, like I was telling Selina a little earlier, when the moment is always right, the right things happen to you, and the right things, I get orchestrated by very divine, divine presence or a divine God. I very strongly believe in. And that's how I met Selina at a very social function. Yeah, Selina, in a very busy, crowded place. I think it was at open house, and all the people and guests who were there. And we kind of just connected, and a lot of magic happened after that, huh, Selina? So thank you so much. I'm really grateful to you. Really grateful to you.
Grateful to you too. You're always writing about me. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, because I think what you do and who you are is very inspiring. I know your journey too, and our journeys resonate. As women, as parents, as what we do for our families, and how we have built ourselves. And you've built yourself up to sheer hard work, from what I can see. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Heart to Heart with ETHEL Da Costa Leadership Soul series with Selina. We are live in Malaysia, and everyone who's joining us from India, a very good evening to you. I have a very special guest today who is, as I said, is a trailblazer, an entrepreneur, an author, and a designer. I think all her titles that Selina wears, she wears it with style, she wears it with glamour, with great panache, and people and women, in Kuala Lumpur and in Malaysia, in the corporate sector, know her very well. I know that we have a lot of mutual friends ourselves. And Selina's story inspires me as a woman myself, and I think it also kind of resonates and inspires a lot of people in our mutual circles. So, Selina, thank you so much for making the time to be with me today, and
Thank you for having me,
and to share. Yeah, you're most welcome. Most welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure. And and without any further ado, here we are live with audiences in Malaysia and audiences in India. So, good evening, everyone, for joining in. A little introduction to Selina before we start our chat. Selina is the CEO of a very popular and well-established boutique PR brand called Salina Associates, which she launched 2 decades ago. Very pioneering in terms of, very pioneering in terms of the kind of work that Selina's brand does and continues to do in Malaysia. And I think Selina had almost like a head start in in launching the concept, right, Selina?
Well, I had my own doyens and my own gurus, to be honest, and I must give them credit for teaching me a lot of things. I won't fully take credit for what I have done in the past, but we all draw strengths and learnings from each other. That's what I would say.
Yes, yeah, and I think I am an example of that too, because as I said, I met you and I know that myself. So Selina, to my audiences, Selina very strongly believes that magic happens when women empower other women. So her philosophy, in work and in her personal life is also about women empowerment through mentorship, which I think is very powerful actually, and very interesting because women empowerment is otherwise a very generic term, right, Selina?
Yes.
And yeah, and people kind of use it very, how do I call it? What's the right word? To use it very loosely, right? But
Loosely.
it's much, yeah. So I think it's much more than just being seen. I think it's also being seen for what he and she together bring to the table, from a professional level and from a personal level as well. So women empowerment through mentorship is powerful, and being seen what you do. I'm very kind of glad, that as I said, we also meeting. I'm also an example of that same mentorship, of your support, that I found, and you reached out, so beautifully to me in Malaysia, and that is by example, So thank you,
Yeah.
really thank you for that. So when you say mentorship, as I say, it is through action, through example, through being there, in action and deed, and that is what Selina, you've been doing. To my fans and everybody else who's joining in, Selina is also an author, where she's authored a book about success in small and medium business, the IPO Debut. But what is very interesting to me is that all the sales, the book sales, the money that happens out of the book sales goes through the NS Chinese Maternity Hospital and
Yes.
Women's Institute of Management. Yeah, and I think that itself says so much about you, Selina, because again, when you talk about empowering and women empowerment through mentorship, this is a very core example of it too. So whatever that you kind of whatever sales and proceeds that happens from the book go to support these two establishments, correct? And that is
Correct.
legacy building, if you know what I'm saying, because all of us can be successful, all of us can achieve, all of us can create benchmarks, but few people create legacy, work towards building legacy. So I think that is what it is. We create, we go, and legacy is always left behind. So congratulations to you. Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
that's very
Thank,
honorable. Very
thank you.
honorable.
Thank you. Yeah.
Like, really. So great. I think we have people joining in. I can see chat boxes coming up. Um, I'm also grateful that you made the time, because I know that you're observing Ramadan. So I'm going to just kind of jump. Yeah, I'm going to jump straight
Yeah.
into it. Right.
Yeah.
So Selina, tell us, when you talk about your own brand philosophy, which is very close to you
Yeah.
personally and professionally, empowering women through mentorship. Can you tell us where does it come from? Why did it come about? And where are you taking that?
Okay, when I talk about mentorship, actually, my definition of it is more inclined towards lifting other women of whom I'm in contact with higher. I feel that I should bring women along with me as I progress in life, because
Mm-hmm.
you never know when this full circle with these friends or these women that I've taken along will come in to be of service to me as well. So that's why I feel
Right.
that all of us are connected. All of us are so connected by one energy. So it
Mm-hmm.
is it is truly my belief that what you want to achieve for yourself, you must help other people achieve it for themselves. So that is where all this this mentorship philosophy that I have expounded came from.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, and when you kind of go out of your way to do that, Selina, I think it kind of shows because it comes from a heart space, and I know that myself. It comes from a space where we all mirror each other, correct, in life. And when one woman, yeah, and when one woman mentors another woman, that
Yeah,
woman then goes to mentor another woman, and
correct.
the chain and the cycle builds in a very authentic manner.
I have one
Correct?
word to say about that. I have one word to say about that. You see, my best friend, her name is Sherilyn Fong, and she always tell me that in whatever that you do, ensure that it has a positive multiplier effect.
Yes. Wow. Yes. Absolutely correct. Correct. Have you noticed that in your own being a corporate person yourself in the works that you do? Do you see this philosophy being taken?
I lost you.
Yeah.
I
So
lost.
I was saying that. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, that again. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying that in a very generic corporate environment, do you see this philosophy being taken forward?
You know, you attract more of what you are. I feel you attract what the people who are like-minded. I feel that you magnetize the people whom resemble your best attributes. So I mean, it's safe for me to say that most of the women that I surround myself with are also very much into helping each other rise the ranks, be more successful in what they do, are so magnanimous in every way. I guess that is the way I operate. Hence, the circle of friends that I hang out with, they share the same philosophies, the
Mhm.
same beliefs. So I'm
Yes.
not
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
speak for other women. I'm just speaking from where I come from. That's it. Hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I see that too because who we are is who we attract. I completely believe that.
Agree, right? I mean, you know that. I mean, you see
Yeah.
who my friends
Yes.
are and my friends who are your friends now. They share they
Yes.
share this common trait. Hmm.
Yes. I think it is the soul sistership because I see that I see that through example. These are not just words, Selina, right? Because these are deeply lived philosophies of day-to-day life, because
Absolutely, absolutely.
soul sistership is about, yeah,
Yeah.
is about, connection, bonding, hit, not just the good times, right? I think those are where you build, strong friendships. So your experiences, working with corporate women, because you have such a strong history of that in Malaysia,
Mhm.
where do you kind of see true women empowerment in in uh, in the entire corporate industry with women in corporate?
Where do I see this empowerment philosophy or this empowerment attributes? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes, that's right. With women, especially with corporate
Yeah,
women.
corporate women. How I look at them, how I look at this situation in the corporate world is that we are not. I will speak for the circles that I'm in or the people that I know or can speak about because I don't want to be a third party carrier of how people behave
Yes.
or act. But generally, from the people or the women that I know, generally, uh, how mentorship happens is that if we are from a certain sector and we want to say expand into another sector, there are always women within the organization that is more than happy to give you the right guidance, the tips, opening the doors for you. I think that's really, really important. Sometimes you must seek help. Sometimes you must communicate and ask for support, right? So I feel that in the corporate world, mentorship is, so I feel that in the corporate world, in where women are concerned, let's say I'm a PR person and I want to venture, say, into manufacturing. I would not have any trouble finding maybe a CEO or an owner of a factory or a manufacturing company or establishment to show me the ropes, to tell me what you should do, how you should do it, have a look. So that is, to me, the version of how women from different sectors in the corporate world empower each other. Not hoarding all the information to themselves, not keeping the door closed, but opening it, very welcoming, very warm, and essentially very happy to share. Because I think they believe that if I'm a banker and if I want to move along into another sector, obviously there would be some mutually beneficial relationships that will emerge later on. I think a very genuine and sincere woman would approach mentorship from this perspective.
So more through collaboration than competition.
Yes.
More through collaboration.
Yes. Instead of looking at everyone as your nemesis or your competitor, make it someone who can be your ally. Be allied to you. Yeah.
Yes. Because so I also come from a very different perspective, which is from India. India is a highly competitive country because it has that many billions of people, right? So the corporate industry also becomes extremely competitive. Like I always say, it is a shark eat shark world. It's not a dog eat dog world in India. That's very true. And therefore all of us are built to become a shark as well, to have that first bite of a deal, a first bite of of a big campaign. And therefore sometimes I've seen that women forget, Selina, correct, to collaborate instead of compete.
Have you heard of
because
this?
I think in a shark infested.
I've lost you.
Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah.
You were
I lost
you. Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to say, have you heard of this saying? When I was building my career, I went for this workshop, and during one of the breakout rooms, the trainer said that women don't realize that women are women's worst enemies.
I've heard it so often. Have you heard of
that?
Very, very often. And sometimes, Selina, to be to be very, very frank, and this I've seen it happening as well, because in a environment of competition, you often see that, but in an environment, you flip it, and in an environment of collaboration, the whole narrative and story changes. Because to also look at a working environment as a collaborative environment and not competitive, which I believe happens through through maturity, through your own soul work, right? When the whole narrative flips, and I believe women can flip that narrative to their advantage. What do you think?
Yes, obviously, definitely. It's there is enough for I feel that there's enough in the universe for everyone. There is no need to hoard.
Yes, absolutely, yes. There's no need to hoard. There is no need to chase. There is no need to run.
There's enough.
no need to hoard. Like how you, there's enough for all. Like how you rightly mentioned about even information. I think a lot of and I'm saying it across a lot of information that we learn through time and through experience, can also be willingly shared when you come from a space of collaboration. And I always, and I've seen that. So my prayer always is when I step out of my home on work is that, dear God, may I meet people in the same space of giving,
Yeah, so good.
because when you give, and because when you give, you're also in the space to receive as well. And
Absolutely.
that's how I met you, and that's how I continue to meet such wonderful people in Malaysia, because I think that that philosophy takes us very far in our work and our personal lives too. And that brings me to your very recent very recent venture, which kind of made me also very happy, because I think very few women get in that space, Selina. That I see, that you are, your recent venture with Malaysian Airlines,
Yes.
to kind of, with their entire sustainability, approach to repurpose, correct, old uniforms and old leather seats into something so beautiful.
Everything. Yeah, everything. Repurposing everything.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, Malaysian Airlines is a very hardcore, corporate brand, right? And
Yeah.
very,
Pride of
and then yes, and then you're there yourself. Can you tell us, tell me how it happened, and where do you see this entire direction happening for what you are doing for Malaysian Airlines?
how that came about. Okay. In
Yes.
2017, in 2017, I became the first Malaysian handbag brand that was sold on Malaysia Airlines on their Temptations platform. That was in 2017.
Malaysian Airlines.
Malaysia Airlines, yeah,
Yes.
2017. So I designed some pouches, some bags, and sold it. Then it was quite a while ago, 2017. So I think that relationship somehow continued to now. And the global marketing head, Miss Wai Kwan, she approached me one day and she said, "Look, I have all this really old, smelly, hardened, cracked aircraft seat leather. Honestly, I looked at it and I was wondering, oh my goodness, what can I do with this? But she says, can you try and
Yeah.
repurpose it? Because we are moving towards sustainability, and from the marketing perspective, we want to repurpose everything from aircrafts which are decommissioned or are no longer in use. So I took some of those smelly old hardened seats back and treated took it to
Yeah.
factory and see whether it can be reused as well, and came up with some ideas for a gender neutral bag, which I will
Mm.
unveil shortly. So in the past, my bags were very feminine tote bags, clutches. But this time, because sustainability is something that involves everyone, and also as part of
Right.
the Sustainable Development Goal number 5, where you are to promote gender equality, I felt that the bags that I designed this time should be gender neutral. It means that men and women can carry it. The
Mm-hmm.
bags will be on sale pretty soon. As you know, the prototypes were just launched like yesterday. So
Right.
you'll be the first to have a look at it once again. And
Thank you.
I'm happy that when I spoke about this collaboration with Malaysia Airlines, a lot of people were very delighted to know that such things can be done out of something which
Mm-hmm.
would otherwise be known as waste. So the
Yes,
bags
correct.
are made of of the old seats leather, and the brand of the bag. So they
Mhm.
were asking me, where do you want to put your brand? Where do you want to put your logo or the brand of the bag on this
Right.
creation? And I said, the Malaysian Airlines stewardess, the flight attendant's uniform is such a strong branding already. You to take a look at the print, you take a
Yes.
look at the batik,
Yes.
you will know immediately, anywhere in the world, you will know this is Malaysia
Yes.
Airlines. Why do you need to put a brand?
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Correct. Yeah.
So I decided
Wow.
that, okay, this bag do not need to put, you don't need to put my name anywhere, because I want the brand of Malaysia Airlines to speak for itself. Hence, I allowed um, a key component of the design to include the uniforms, the flight attendants' uniforms. Yeah. So
Wow.
Malaysians,
Okay.
yes,
And
Malaysians will be proud of
how
wearing the
soon does it happen? Yeah,
Sorry?
because I think it's a very powerful airline. So when I
Yeah.
traveled to Malaysia, I traveled by Malaysia Airlines only, because I found it very how do I call it? Very friendly, and it felt as if like it was already Malaysia in the aircraft, if you know what I'm saying,
Yes,
because
yes, yes.
the same spirit of, yeah, this and between the two of us, we've flown, different aircrafts and stuff. Um,
Mm.
I think that is what really makes the country and its people so unique from the rest of the world. And that glimpse and feeling, you get that when you step onto the aircraft.
Yeah.
And in my feedback forms, I've always said that, if it's Malaysia to
Mm.
India, I'm only traveling Malaysia Airlines. That's it.
Yeah, please,
Yeah.
send a note to to the tourism minister.
Yes. I think yes.
Yeah,
We should do
yeah, there
that. Dear Madam
airlines
Minister.
is complaint.
That
Mm.
is true, right? So how soon does this start, Selina? I mean, how soon is it going to be available to say people, in general, people like us?
Uh, after the Raya month, because we just launched the prototypes, and we thought
That's
that
right.
let the holy month be a month of contemplation, of prayers, of reflection, and let the vibrancy of a of a bag launch be
Ye-
after uh,
Yes,
after the fasting period. Mm.
after fasting period, right? So on that
Yeah.
note, because both of us are passionate foodies as well, what what would you say it would be your personal, kind of, pick. So what is your go to kind of, to pick Selina back again after her full day of fasting and work?
Uh, that's a difficult question. I prioritize I prioritize restaurants or any
Okay.
establishments where I feel at home, where I have a connection to either that space, the
Hmm.
owners, what they stand for, and essentially how that place makes me feel when I go there.
Yeah, I think that's a great
Mhm.
checklist to have,
Mm,
because
yeah.
everything, because everything about brands today is very personalized relationships, which also goes across board, and therefore you have a stickiness value to it, right? You go back to it again and again when you feel comfortable, you feel like home.
So I would of course try all the new places in town. Of course, I would not say I don't. I would definitely for to experience something new is really good, because it keeps you expanding, and you need to expand
Yes.
all the time. Good or bad, thick or thin, you need to
Yeah.
expand. Yeah, your consciousness,
Yes.
experiences.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so going to new places is definitely there on the cards, but if I were to choose to go on a whim, then it would be to the places that I mentioned before, if they meet those
Correct.
checklists. Yeah.
Right. So it's usually how we call it, right? Um,
Mm.
that there's a kind of nice word that I have with it. When you feel comfortable, you feel at home, and you have soul space to be yourself, is other places and people who endure us to each other. Correct? Things that way.
Correct, correct.
So
Yes, yes, yes.
I
That warm. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So besides being a foodie, I also know that you're so high on fashion because when I did that entire article with you, right? And it had such lovely feed that you've met in Malaysia, because I was very new at that time, and I said
Mm.
you guys should really understand how Selena very consciously uses fashion as a as an empowering tool. It's not just a brand. It's just not clothes on a rack that you kind of just go and pick up and you wear and it's forgotten. Correct? There
Mm.
is a very conscious effort made to kind of build a community around a fashion brand, which I think in
Mm.
today's world post COVID is the USP for even brands internationally to build community and engagement around themselves, which you do very well. Can you tell all our listeners here and and fashionistas as well, how did the design label come about? What is the design philosophy behind it, so they can also check you out, check out your stories and your Instagram pages and stuff. So can you share that with us about the entire fashion story and the
Uh,
empowerment behind it?
okay. Well, actually, I'm the creative director, not the designer. I'm the creative director of this brand called Romida KL. The designer is in Cambodia. Her name is Romida, obviously. So KL is me,
Okay.
because I thought it sounds very funny to say
Yes.
Romida Selina, right? So it's Romida KL,
Right.
representing the KL, Malaysian aspect of the brand. So,
Hmm.
so this I've worn Romida clothes since 1998, I believe. That's a long time ago. And I noticed that every time I wear her clothes, people never fail to ask me, where do you get that from? I love the
Long time.
design. So after 10 years of constantly being asked this question, I felt it's about time I brought the brand to Malaysia. So that's how it happened. So five
Okay.
years ago, 5 years ago, I, together with my then partner Ning Baizura, that very famous singer, we brought the brand to Malaysia, and then we worked with the designer Romida to create some seasonal looks for the Malaysian market.
Hmm.
Because one thing I realized is that the Malaysian women, not all are so risque when it comes to dressing up, unlike the Europeans. And Romida designs are very much French chic. So French chic, Asian influence. It can get quite risque. It can get very how would I say, maybe a bit too daring for the local taste. So we decided to come to Malaysia. We decided to ask her to design some clothes which are more palatable for the local taste. But
Hmm.
of course, apart from the seasonal collections that the designer does for the Malaysian market, I do bring in as also some pretty avant-garde designs for those who dare to bear.
Yes, I've seen that. I've seen that, and I love them. I don't think they're risky at all. I think it's, as you said, very, yeah, because we've all seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please continue.
I
Please continue. I love it.
yeah. I feel that the so I took over the brand completely about 3 years ago, and ever since taking over the brand completely, I had more control over the creative direction
Hmm.
of the clothes. Taking over the brand completely, I decided to reinvent the philosophy of the clothes. to say that, when you wear a Romida KL dress, you are wearing your confidence. You are wearing your personality. You are not keeping anything inside. You dare to bear who you are. Not just dare to bear skin or flesh, but dare to bear who you are. And that was how the label evolved after I took full creative control over it.
Right.
So I feel that the Romida KL woman is someone who is not afraid of being adventurous. Is not afraid of maybe being judged, because she does not judge herself, and she lives and she is living her best life. That is the philosophy that I want to impart to everyone, who dares to to wear one of those. Yes.
Beautiful, really beautiful. And having watched, the Instagram page and all the things, all the things that happen around it, I think most of the women who are wearing brand look happy people.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important, right? So
Correct.
because in fashion, we usually kind of see that the brand overpowers the personality, but I think here the brand and the personality complement each other to get the best.
Yeah. There are some women who feel that unless it's a designer brand, it's not, it's not worth them putting on. So I respect that as well. There are some women who feels that for this kind of price, I'd rather buy a local brand. There are many takes on what people say about my label, but that's fine, because as I said, there's enough for everyone to go around. There is no need to say I'm better, you are better, mine is better, yours is better.
Yes.
That is what makes that's what makes the fashion landscape so interesting.
Yeah, I agree that so having seen also so all of us have very how do we call it, very passionate fashion week. We've been on the front row, and we've seen all things happening around. How vibrant would you say is the women's fashion industry in Malaysia?
Oh, I was asked this a few years ago, and even a few years ago, I was saying that I'm really amazed at the growth of the fashion industry in Malaysia. I feel that it is because of social media. I think that the local designers are really keeping at par with what's happening all around the world in the fashion space. Because nowadays, you are looking at you're looking at how fashion rolls out, minute on minute. You don't have to wait to receive what's the latest in terms of in terms of what's trending, in terms of what's happening on high street couture. So the local designers are really, I would say, up to par with their foreign counterparts.
Yes, and I have a few favorites of from among the landscape that I've seen and researched on. I think a few favorites are also building up, because I look at it as they draw the best from the Malaysian multicultural, multi-ethnicity, and all the traditional arts and crafts that Malaysia has to offer, and then you put it out there in high fashion, right from styling to the fabric, to the silhouettes. So interesting, because correct. And then I see that so women also kind of who love fashion, who kind of take ownership of that, of that statement, and therefore I look at it as something very powerful, because I think Asian women are so unlike women of other parts of the world. Right from beauty, grace, and then you add high fashion to it and couture to it, and it is it's a different explosion out here. very interesting for me to kind of see that, to see that evolution happening from a very outside perspective, looking inwards. And I think and on that note, Selina, I know that you also have to kind of, go do what you have to do with the breaking fast and stuff like that. So I'm not going to stress you out even more, right? But a few kind of before you leave, any kind of advice that you want to kind of, give out to any advice that you want to give out to women who are on their path of self-empowerment and therefore empowering others through example?
No.
Any kind of
Can you just
message?
repeat the
Yeah?
question again because I lost you for a moment.
Yes, I was saying before we kind of, sign off, any kind of message that you want to share with our listeners and viewers today on women who use self-empowerment to actually go out of their way to help and empower women out there in the world.
I think my closing note will be that women should respect women and would be more open to lifting each other up higher. I really strongly feel that there is just so much challenges already in the world right now, and the last thing we need is for women to find that aggressiveness amongst each other, that it actually tears you down subconsciously. I feel that women has got not just a role to play in terms of their professional and career development, but you see, these women who are powerful in the workspace, in the career, or in whatever industry they are in, that is just the tip of the iceberg. Remember, they got to come home. They have to come home and impart values on their
Yes.
children, be it boys or girls. So their work is not just restricted to personal career development, but they need to bring home all these good values so that the cycle perpetuates, the cycle of having the sons respect women and the women
Right.
knowing their place in society.
Right.
That's the way I look at how mentorship is something that you bring home as well.
Right. Wow. You also, I'm sorry, I kind of just remembered. You also mentioned that you have a new kind of a program, right? Around image and
Imaging school. Yeah. I do.
yes, yeah.
Uh,
Does this concept tie into that as well, Selina? If you can kind of briefly tell us.
Yes. This so last year, me and my friend Judith, we started this school called the Modern Finishing School, and we specialize in how do I say, a business image, not so much of being a stylist kind of
Yeah.
school, but more of
Yes.
what is the right business image you should carry in the different environments, in the different industries, in the different activities that you participate in. So that's why we call it creating the winning business image. We hope
Okay.
that by empowering you through adopting or creating the right business image for yourself, you are able to close that deal faster, or maybe even generate more deals for yourself. Because did I mention to you about this video that I saw where there's this man in a suit, and he's on his phone talking, and he was sort of like putting his hand out asking for a penny because he's lost his wallet, or he's left his wallet at home and he needed some money to take a taxi, and everyone passes by and happily gives him some money, dollars, coins, or whatever, and he's wearing a suit. And then there's another video of the same man dressing up like a beggar with a bowl, begging for a penny, and everyone walks past him without giving
Right.
anything. So what does it say? It says that when you look good, people are more receptive to helping you, to want to give you.
Yes.
So on that premise, the Modern Finishing School was born.
Yes. I think those are the that's the harsh truth of of our reality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So,
Correct, yeah.
so on that note as well, before we finish, I want to say that the Modern Finishing School also has gone to schools to teach teenagers the finer art of of uh, social graces, etiquette, because I feel that
Okay.
it's good for them to start early, like from the ages of 14, 15, they can start. Because you know how
Yes.
you've seen children when you in their restaurant with their parents, right? And then they will talk with their fork and spoon pointing everywhere, like, "Mom, you know, in school today, no," which
Yes.
is
Yeah.
it's
That's
cute.
right.
Yeah, yeah. It's cute when you're 14 or 15 years old, talking with your
Yes.
fork and knife flying all over the place. But
Right.
when you are in a work environment, when you're meeting clients, when you want to create an impression, then you must know where to place your hands without having the knife
Right.
flying all over the place.
Right.
So,
Right. Correct. So the good manners are always learned at home, Selena, and we
yes, yes,
carry that. We carry that in our lives, right?
yeah,
Wherever we
yeah.
go. And on that note, I'm going to kind of say thank you, really thank you. First for making the
Thank you.
time. I know it was and making a time, especially during your Ramadan fasting, for sharing all his insights, with all of us. Because I think the more we empower, people, men or women, with information, I think
Yeah,
the better we build our communities, right?
yes,
Because
absolutely.
yeah, because sharing information and knowledge is also power.
Yes,
And as you said, more and more of us need to do that today because the world has changed, times have changed. We
yes,
have kind of, open up circles, become more collaborative, and
yeah,
therefore, support and build kinder, humane societies and communities, and therefore working experiences as well. So on that note, this was like a really good fireside, heart-to-heart chat with you.
all right.
As I said, thank you for what you're doing in Malaysia. Thank you for being face, in Malaysian Airlines. I feel very proud because I see more men in corporate, in corporate
Yeah,
industry, right? When I see
yeah.
women there, I really feel happy. And I say, yes, we kind of, become a cheerleader for them. So thank
Yeah.
you. Great work with what you're doing. With everything that you're doing, for your support always to
Thank you.
me. And I think, it becomes a good, give back circle that we create. Have a great fast breaking ceremony that you will be part of with your family.
Yeah.
And love to you, Selena. Love to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. You're most welcome. To all our FB, listeners, viewers who are there, thank you for joining in. I will be sharing this video very vastly all over the place. Do check in Selena's, fashion brand on Instagram. I will leave the link also below. And have a great evening. Be kind to each other. Support, help, build, collaborate. Because that's the only way we can all rise together.
Yeah.
Ciao. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Selena.
Bye.